teams had presented the marketing and launch plans for the M3M Golf Estates. Valerie did not sabotage her team's chances. But Shreyas did as he was told.
We are not a country of golfers, we are a country of cricketers.
Let's see which team will be in the red and who will be outpitched.
Ladies and gentlemen, please step forward. Pankaj, would you like to say something generally to the two teams?
Apart from the marketing, I was expecting something for the launch, which I didn't hear.
You all ignored the whole launch issue completely. The second team, what do you have to say the way they presented?
Again, talking about the same launch part, I mean, taking your product to the best of the golf courses in the world and selling it there, do you think that's practical, that's viable?
While it's a very nice idea, it sounds great, but how feasible is that?
I mean, it's definitely cheaper than building sample flats and
cheaper? I don't know, you answer that question.
I mean, it could be more viable than doing that.
Going out, hiring the best 10 golf courses, selling your product, how is it possible?
You're selling the M3M product to the databases of people, clientele at these golf courses.
The idea is to get to a catchment area where your prospective customer is definitely going to be present.
Who are the prospective customers today?
People who have high net worth, people who have paying capacity and passion for golf.
Well, that was the only thing that came up in a spark. What?
Can we counter that?
Well, if you like.
I would like to say that if you're having an amateur golf tournament, why not create a golf course of that standard instead of having so many buildings, such good facilities around that, and then positioning that as an amateur golf destination. In a nutshell is that their launch strategy, if it revolves around having amateur golf tournaments and selling the housing with that, I don't agree with that. I would rather sell the housing first and sell golf as an additional to the housing.
Does he make sense, the young man?
I think the other team didn't get what we were trying to say. I think you got that, but they didn't hear properly. What we said very clearly is the idea of India's first amateur golfing academy and getting people down here. The tournament is part of the launch activity.
The launch
activity. And the other activities are, like we said, going to be periodic.
I think they made the whole differentiation and the unique value of this whole project as the golf, which is not the case. It's like having a Ferrari car and just saying I have a big tire, big tire, big tire. There is an engine, there is a horsepower. So what I think M3M is offering here is a whole value proposition. Different people's different needs are being solved. They are being closer to the play, physical place. So I think this is what should have been brought out.
They were mostly ideas that he's already implementing from both teams. Nothing really new, except a couple from here, and one interesting one from here, and the other one which negates it by giving a very non-feasible idea. In my opinion, both teams have done equally well or equally badly, which brings me to you, Valerie. You had a task. I won't ask you what the task is just now, but just for television audiences who know your task and we who know your task, what happened?
With all due respect, I ignored your task. And because it is not in line with my principles. And I think winning is, you have to have principles as a foundation in order to truly win. So I think that decision will help my team and help me through this task.
So what you're saying is that you don't mind losing today, but you will not compromise your principles.
Regardless of what happens to me in this episode, I am not going to sabotage my team. We win on merit and on principles as well.
Shreyas, you had a task.
I think I did my job fairly well. To me, the whole point of this task was not to test our strategy, but there was something beyond it. It was to test how well we can think on our feet, how we cope with chaos, and it's very important to realize that in a true situation.
I'm going to tell you all what tasks were given to Valerie and Shreyas in particular. You all must be aware that in the corporate world, there are games that are being played. There is a lot of sabotage that happens in the corporate world. It happens. It happens in this company, and that's where the idea comes from. It happens in so many companies, it's sometimes news. How would you cope in a situation where somebody is sabotaging, there's a saboteur in your team? She was planted there as a saboteur, and now what you heard from her is that she ignored the task. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? We'll know when we say goodbye or tata. In your case, you said, okay, it's a show. This is not reality. That does not reflect you as a person in particular. And you went ahead with the task. And you started off your presentation very effectively by saying, golf is nonsense, cricket is the word. Why didn't one of you two guys, I saw your faces looking at each other, and you said to yourselves, what's he saying? He was countering your entire project. But neither of you jumped in and said, hey, hold it a minute, Shreyas. I don't know why he said that. He said something about, cricket being the game and not golf being the game. And golf is, you said, BS, if I'm not mistaken?
Pretty much.
He was put in there to see if you guys, when he's actually making a bad presentation for you, and it was okay with you.
No, actually not, because when I took...
No. You allowed him to say it. As team captain, you should have stepped in and said, buddy, 1 second, I don't know what he was saying. Maybe he likes cricket more than golf, but here we are selling golf now that this golf course is ready. I mean, I would imagine you to say.
What I saw was what he said, although he changed his initial pitch, and I knew he changed his initial pitch.
So why didn't you step in and say, I don't know why he...
Because I thought that it went better with what Kunal was going to say next, which was the marketing
But didn't
strategy.
it go awfully wrong when he said, what are you doing? But
I-
basically what he's telling Mr. Bansal, what you've started off with, we started with the golf course, it's a bad idea. What you're doing here? So the argument ends there. The presentation ends there.
No, actually there are two parts to it, and that was clearly saying in India cricket sells and not golf, and our whole pitch was premium.
Are you going to sit and pitch this to a customer and say, cricket sells but not golf, golf is BS but we are selling golf to you?
No.
What kind of a presentation is that?
But I don't think it went that way.
It did. What did you exactly say, Shreyas?
I said we are a country of cricketers, not golfers. And so golf shouldn't even be in our strategy. Let's forget it.
Excuse me. He said golf shouldn't even be in our strategy, and then you guys go very happily, go ahead and try and sell golf.
What they mean here is we should change the entire plan of making this golf course, build here a cricket nice stadium, maybe for kids, or say cricket tournament stadium kind of thing, and start the cricket
So
academy
what was the presentation based on when he has chopped off your legs right at the start? You all didn't realize that he's made a big boo-boo. So were you all listening properly? Or it was acceptable by you, excuse me, was it acceptable by you that a team member is putting his foot in his mouth? So when it comes to rejecting a player, it'll be him because he comes across looking bad. But let me tell you, the team came across looking bad. While your presentation was marginally better than theirs, I say that you to let that statement pass was just simply harakiri on your behalf.
Well, I didn't take it as a negative statement.
Well, would you take it as a negative statement if somebody presented?
Because
would you allow this man to sell your flat?
Not at all.
Now the moment of truth. As the light fades, someone's hopes and chances of making it to the next round also fade. I'll request all three of you to step forward. Valerie and Abhinav, step forward. You, sir, in the background, should breathe safely.
Thank you.
Valerie, this is what I have to say to you. While this is thrust upon you, you took a call. You took a call, and at the risk of being eliminated, decided that going in a direction where your heart and your soul doesn't allow you, you still went ahead and ignored your task. You made some valid points, Kunal. You made some points that weren't too great. You made some valid points. Your presentation was okay. No great ideas. A better idea came from this team. But it was not presented very, very well. The idea may have been good, but the presentation was very weak. And everything comes into play. If you're standing in the danger zone, it is only because your presentation was weak. Shreyas, you did your job well. Not a pleasant job, but I can say you can go and stand with Saurabh.
Thank you.
Now for the four of you. Okay presentation, and not following a task, but following it with conviction. Slightly better presentation, not very many great ideas, but not physically put across well. Valerie, I think in the future, when a task is given to you, please understand that we are not judging your moral character. But having said that, I still want to laud you. I want to applaud you. Well done. You're safe.
I think Valerie should have been eliminated because she did not do the task that was given to her.
Ankit, when I spoke to you earlier in the morning, I told you that a couple of times it's not just the ideas, but even the presentation has not been great. I think you too are aware of it. And please disregard the fact that you should have jumped into the situation and kind of done a little firefighting on behalf of your team. But yes, it does go against you as team leader.
Well, I thought the best thing was to take my team through the presentation first as a team leader.
And no, but how would you?
Maybe,
no, but that's not what we are trying to underline over here. That's not what you're trying to underline here. We're talking purely on performance. Kunal, again, a so-so performance. Today, you didn't do great. You're kind of, there was no passion in the way you all presented. Even with an idea that I've heard of before, I would like to see a lot more passion. Would you agree?
Yes.
I miss that. Convince me. Three of you stand together. I'm coming for that handshake. We will miss you. Okay, you kind of saw it coming today?
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't see it coming so obviously, but I told you in the beginning, every dog has his day, and I guess
You're looking at it philosophically.
today was not mine.
Suppose Shreyas was not on your side.
Yeah.
He was on your side, and he didn't make his presentation. As team leader, I think you should have jumped in and said, hey, I got one more point to say. Maybe Shreyas's point. You know?
Maybe.
So maybe it's all about opportunity.
Yep.
What do you learn from this whole experience? You've now been in our 6 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think I've done pretty well. It's been a great experience.
I think you've done great.
Yeah, I've
but
met a lot of people. I mean, this is the only one where I thought I didn't do well.
From here, what now?
Oh, well, for me, it's been great. I have delivered, you know, the best skill sets that I have in different tasks. I've been creative sometimes. I've been, you know, innovative sometimes. I've
For a doctor, very creative, I must say.
given a good presentation once or twice.
You made good friends?
Oh yeah, one of the best.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yep.
Pankaj, we'd like to thank you and you know, good luck with your project. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye. So with that, we come to an end with another great episode of The Pitch with India's youngest and brightest entrepreneurs, India's greatest business icons, and of course, me. Bye-bye. Today you're going to meet one man you definitely have to impress if you're ever going to make it in the world of business. Meet Mr. Finance himself, Mr. M. Damodaran.
So now what I want to hear from all of you is, what are those detailed plans that you have? And all of it with numbers.
Half of the revenue is coming from SMEs.
Do you see that as a risk? Because government's policy on SMEs, there has been a lot of back and forth in terms of helping SMEs as well as in terms of discouraging SMEs. Give me one good reason why you will advertise here and not in some well-circulated magazine. Now let me argue against this case. And what have you come up with? What you have identified as they can do, we can't.
Can I have a water?